Hey, good Tuesday evening, everyone. This is State Representative Brad Halbrook from the 107th. I am joined here on our Tuesday night live stream roundtable with Leader Chairman of the Freedom Caucus, Chris Miller, Leader Adam Niemerg, and Leader David Freese, and State Director Colin Mosley. Gentlemen, welcome to tonight's live stream. We got a lot to talk about. Hope you guys are all doing well, and I'm sure, like most everybody in the state of Illinois, the drought continues. And so with that, tonight's program is brought to you when the weather is cooling off in central Illinois and maybe the Midwest. Maybe things are heating up in the city of Chicago. So with that, let's get into our first slide. And so, again, welcome everybody to tonight's live stream. And hopefully you will continue to like and share this content as we go forward. Next slide. So we are hearing a lot about the activity of ICE in Chicago. Senator Duckworth has called the federal law enforcement Gestapo. Governor Pritzker is claiming that the Trump administration is engaged in thuggery and thug-type activities. And Mayor Johnson is making the claim that the right wing wants a rematch of the Civil War. And so you see the comment there from Governor Pritzker. Adam Niemerg, let's just go to you to weigh in, and then we'll open it up to Chris and David for their thoughts about what's going on in the city of Chicago with the federal law enforcement and the ICE situation. Adam?
Yeah, thanks, Brad. And wow, you talk about a drought in the state of Illinois. There's a drought of common sense in Chicago right now. Folks, I am continually astounded that, Governor J.B. Pritzker and Mayor Brandon Johnson and Tammy Duckworth, they continue these radical political ideologies grounded in no common sense whatsoever. I mean, you just look at what's happening, and Mayor Johnson signed an executive order banning federal agents from using city property. So, that gang leader that offered $10,000 for a dead ICE agent, all he has to do is go on to, city property, and Mayor Johnson is harboring a criminal illegal. It blows my mind that these individuals are harboring criminal illegals, rapists, murderers, thugs. And then when the ICE enforcement officers are encircled by 10 vehicles and they call for backup from Chicago Police Department is told to stand down. And one of those protesters had a semi-automatic weapon. I thought the semi-automatic weapons ban was supposed to take care of any gun violence, yet we still see it continually in the city of Chicago. So I think people understand what's going on here. They see through this political, rhetoric, this ridiculousness that's going on from the governor and from Johnson and from Duckworth and from Durbin, quite frankly, and they say, what is happening? We have a crisis here, and our leaders are harboring illegal immigrants, criminal illegal immigrants, and putting the citizens of this state in harm's way. It truly blows my mind.
Yeah, Chris or David?
Yeah, I'm actually astounded. I sort of, just like everybody here, we've seen numerous press conferences by both the governor and the mayor of Chicago. Not once have I seen either one of them say, hey guys, citizens, you can peacefully protest, but don't throw rocks, don't throw bricks, don't ram ICE agents with your vehicles. So as much inflammatory rhetoric as they, throw at federal ICE agents and, law enforcement, for once, I would love to see them say something to try and bring the rhetoric down and call out these yahoos that are running around the streets acting like buffoons. That's where their ire needs to be directed towards.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think one of the things that you guys are missing is J.B. Pritzker and Brandon Johnson said there's no story here, that they've got everything under control and we're strolling through life on the good ship Lollipop. You guys must have missed that memo. But I mean, it's amazing to me that since J.B. Pritzker has been governor, there's been over 5,000 Chicagoland citizens murdered under his watch. They shoot him every weekend up there like fish in a barrel. I mean, what was it over Labor Day weekend? There was over 60 people got shot,
Yeah.
and almost, I think, towards 8 or 10 of them died. And those are just the ones we know about. We don't know about the ones that got dumped in the river or taken out with a pair of cement shoes and dumped in the lake. Those are just the ones that they're claiming. But it blows my mind that, I mean, I'm aghast. I am about as close to speechless as I've ever been, even though you all know that rarely ever happens. But Brandon Johnson and J.B. Pritzker have an opportunity to be a hero, to actually let President Trump come in with his people and help clean up the mess that's been going on for decades. I mean, the Democrats have been in charge forever, and so they can't blame any of this on anybody but themselves. They have to look in the mirror and take ownership for this problem. But like I say, they could be heroes, but instead they chose to be zeros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I think this widely reported stuff that Director Noam and her team was denied access into a government building for use of a restroom. And, I think, Chris, you're right. I mean, every weekend, it seems like it's 30, 40 plus or minus that are shot. And then there are 6 or 8 or more killed. And evidently that's an acceptable number that Mayor Johnson and Governor Pritzker are quite okay to live with. I find that quite appalling. And I think most of the citizens of the city and the state find that quite appalling. And again, they're on track to continue to hold the title of the murder capital. So I think it's just insane, the activity that the governor and the mayor continues to say, hey, President Trump, there's nothing to see here, move along, when just the opposite is true.
Yeah, Brad, Eddie, you made a great point. You cite everybody sees those numbers following every weekend, but no one has ever asked, to my knowledge, you say if this is an acceptable level of violence in the city of Chicago, please tell me, when does it become unacceptable? What are the numbers?
Right.
Do 20 people have to die? Do 200 people need to be shot? Seriously, at what point does it become unacceptable? And for whatever reason, they have resigned. As we'll take, if we average, 6 to 10 murders a weekend, that's fine. This is insane.
Right. I mean, we talk about having a moral compass, having a true north. Again, apply the acceptable number. What's an acceptable number that an employee can steal from a business? Is it 10,000? Is it 100,000? Is it 500? What is the acceptable number? Is it okay if an employee, or you don't show up for work 1 day out of 5 or 2 days out of 5? I mean, I think we just have to apply this across the board. And again, the governor and the mayor just pick and choose what works best for them, or what they think works best for them, or maybe what's politically expedient. Yeah. Hey, let's move on to Veto Session. A week from today, we'll be in Springfield. And so we got a lot of big, heavy-duty bills coming up. And so, David, I'm going to kick this off to you. It's kind of take your choice here as far as what you might see on this menu of stuff to talk about. We'll try to cover each one of them briefly. And so with that, David?
All right. Yeah. Let's talk energy. As everybody knows, I'm sure everybody here on this panel and everybody that's watching, the energy bill went up this summer. It was forecasted. MISO predicted that. And Ameren's getting beat up over it because Ameren's the entity that delivers the bill to your house. Mm-hmm. And the Democrats in their siege of bills, they couldn't figure out that if you want reliable energy, cheap reliable energy, you better find a replacement before you take coal and natural gas off the grid. It makes sense to everybody here. It probably makes sense to everybody watching tonight. But for some reason, common sense and logic have completely escaped these guys. And now they're trying to figure out. It's like they're oops, that they have an oops moment here, and they're trying to fix their mistake, and they don't know what to do. It's rather comical, sat in. I didn't sit in, but I watched some of these debates on these energy bills that are coming through. It's unfortunate. Their answer to this stuff is now more subsidies, for more solar. It's in batteries. Right. It's not going to work. Never will. I don't mind putting it on the grid, but you better make sure that it replaces what you're taking off the grid.
Right, exactly. And you're right, Leader Freeze. There's been, I think, 4 hearings since the end of August from the Senate and the House, 12 plus hours worth of testimony, very little from the true experts. Chris, I think these folks should be, if they're not already, waking up from their green, fantastical dreams about the reality of the world we live in. I mean, we're getting ready to see a massive, potentially multi-billion-dollar bill come next week or the following week about battery storage here. And this is just simply going to burden the ratepayers even more and not yet solve the problem when it comes to this green energy scam that they seem to be embarking on.
Yeah, I don't know what it's going to take to get these people to wake up. I know that we've been sounding the alarm for 3 or 4 years now that this is a scam. This won't work. It will never work. It's destined to failure. And I know that I've been going as far to say that it's a complete attack on the middle class. It's an attack on small business. As we've gone around our various districts, we've seen the escalation in the electric bills. And I know just yesterday, one of the staples there in Chesterville, Illinois, Joe's Diner, has been there forever. And she said that she was going to go strictly to catering because she can't afford to keep her doors open. I mean, her electric bill went up over $1,000 since the green scam has come in. The Democrats have also raise a minimum wage, and inflation that the Democrats also caused. All those things combined, she said, I can't charge enough money in order to, if I charge the money that I have to stay in business, I won't have any customers.
Right.
And so, but we see that going on time after time after time. But the Democrats will not admit failure. They won't admit that this is a complete scam. I know myself and the senator went to visit one of the local manufacturing plants, and they were going through their slide set. And it finally dawned on me about halfway through that all they're concerned about is telling us about their ESG scores. And I finally had enough. And I said, they were picturing a solar field that was across from their place of business. And just 1 year ago, they harvested over 100 acres of corn, dumped 40 to 60,000 bushels of corn on the ground and hauled it to the landfill so they could start their solar field, which now that they were hooked up to. And I reminded them that I watched them do that. And I said, oh, by the way, why are you trying to tell me that solar panel is green? I said, they've mined rare earth minerals in a foreign country. China's making these. They're using child slave labor, and then they're putting them on a boat and bringing them to the USA. I mean, you'd have to be a complete idiot to think that that's green energy. That kind of dried up that conversation, by the way.
Well, without a doubt. And we've seen, as we've been out this summer and early fall, talking to our constituents, $50 to $100 at the front door is not uncommon for an increase year over year. $1,000 in most of these small restaurants and bars. And I had one business owner, 2 locations, been in business for 60 plus years, had a $69,000 1 month increase year over year on each utility bill. Ladies and gentlemen, these numbers don't add up, and it's not going to work out very long. Thankfully, maybe the peak capacity is over for now, but we know that it doesn't end. It will come back with this massive energy bill that's being proposed next week. It'll be worse. And so, I don't know, gentlemen, we've kind of whipped energy over. Adam, I don't know if you want to talk about energy or if you want to talk about the potential tax increases, but let's let you wrap up this slide as we move on.
Oh, sounds good. Yeah, you guys nailed it on the energy issue. And really what it comes down to is power control and big government perpetuated by the Democrats. The reason that they will not ever admit that they're wrong is because why should they? This is a political religion to them, and they will ride it into the ground. The only way that we're going to change this state is if we vote them out of office. But going to the delivery tax, which I am watching intently, That's the $1.50 charge for any Amazon or any package that comes to your house, for that matter. $1.50 charge. And this is going to fund the Chicago Transit Authority because they are completely bankrupt. Funny that Chicago is bankrupt. What a shocker there. They have great leadership, and they do not run anything into the ground in Chicago. But yeah, $1.50 tax on anything that comes to your home is going to bail out the Chicago Transit Authority. And that is just a tax on working class families, on folks just trying to get by day to day, have items delivered to their homes, as well as the elderly who continually have items delivered to their homes. So it's a big issue whenever we have tax and spend Democrats, because we saw the budget was $55 billion, $1 billion in tax increases. Now they're seeing that they need to get more in taxation from the people of this state. And again, it's all about power and control.
Right.
So, hey, just real quick on that, Adam. We were having a discussion about that last week, and it's my understanding in that bill is if the final delivery is made via a bicycle, no delivery tax. So who in the state of Illinois gets packages delivered via a bicycle? It's not people in my neighborhood. I can tell you this, it's people in Chicago. So they're going to implement this tax, and then they're going to figure out a way to exempt themselves from this tax.
Just like on CJ, where if you were a ComEd customer, you had a $50 rebate, but the rest of us are taken to the cleaners for on our energy costs.
Yeah, it never ends.
Well, and in their infinite wisdom, they try to weave the climate lingo into all of it. I mean, originally this was called the climate impact fee.
So but they'll sweep funds on this. It'll get sent to some woke, just like with the gas tax, having money sent for abortion services. You just never know where this money's going to go or what they're going to do with it.
Right.
Now, let's think this through a little bit. Could you imagine somebody on a bike in the city of Chicago loaded down with merchandise? He wouldn't make it a half a block before he was robbed and thrown in the ditch.
Yeah. Well, and of course, physician-assisted suicide is still on the table, and many, many more bad ideas. And I guess I would just urge everybody out there watching us tonight that stay tuned in over the next few weeks. As if need be, we'll go live from the Capitol complex with kind of up-to-date stuff, kind of what's over, and just kind of expect updates to come over the next few weeks as we muddle through this veto session. Gentlemen, unless you have anything else, let's kind of go into our next slide. I'm going to bring in State Director Colin Mosley to talk about a town hall that we got coming up in a couple of weeks and to kind of close us out for the evening.
Yeah, thanks, Brad. Excited about being in Jed Davis's district in Yorkville, October 21st, partnering with the Kendall County GOP and YANA and all those good conservative groups up there. So anybody in the area of the 75th, Kendall, Grundy, LaSalle, Will, DeKalb, feel free to come on out for a great evening talking about freedom and talking about what's going on in Springfield from the conservative, unvarnished truth perspective. So there's no spin here, just the truth. Yeah. And hey, if you want us to come to your area to do a town hall or an event, we'd be happy to come out to your part of Illinois. We've traveled north, south, east, and west. And as the year comes to a close, happy to try to come see you here in the next couple of months. So.
Right. And Colin, next slide, how people can stay in touch with us even more digitally via the email or the Substack.
Yeah, that's right. Our website there, our Substack, where you can find our press releases, our events, our commentary from what's going on in your capital and around the state. So feel free to visit those sites. And as always, feel free to send your friends there as well.
Right. And as always, you can share this stream and other things that we post on our social medias, on the YouTube, on the Facebook, on the X. And again, we always appreciate that you are joining us to spread the truth, logic, and common sense, as this is your conservative campfire in the middle of Illinois that seems to be the house is on fire, Chris Miller, but yet they seem to be smoking in bed. It's just crazy, the mindset of the majority party in Springfield. With that, gentlemen, let's close out for the evening and say good night. And Mr. Director, if you will hit the outro music, we'll talk to you real soon.